Amen, amen. You may be seated. No, I do not normally sound like this, and so I do sound like I'm talking down a PVC pipe. And I woke up Monday morning and I was sick. I don't get sick a lot, and so I don't like being sick because what does sick force you to do? It forces you to stay still and rest. And I don't like to stay still, and I don't like to rest. So all week I've just kind of sat around, and I actually got to mull all this over a lot. And so I'm fired up today. I hope you are. My name is Troy Perry. If this is your first time or maybe first time in a long time, me and my wife, we are the lead pastors here at Story Church. We are so thankful that you're here today. We know that you could have went anywhere else. You could have chose to go to another church. You could have chose to stay at home. You could have chose to go grocery shopping. You could have chose to do anything else, but you made time to come here today. And so I pray that today you would leave encouraged, that you would leave inspired. We're in our week 3 of our Step Up series. We started this series 2 weeks ago, and for us, this is more like a movement. This is kind of a season in the church, if you will, to where we can just kind of sit back, pull back some layers, and say, okay, how can we take next steps? How can we step up and be who God has called us to be? Because I don't know if you realize it or not, if you recognize it or not, but God has a big dream for all of us. But we have to be able to step into that. And so we've been going through the Step Up series. And week 1, we actually took a look at what it looks like to invite someone to come to church. And that's a big deal. And we talked about how uncomfortable that is. Because how many of you know when we start talking about church, we start talking about Jesus and religion, amen, it just gets weird. And even he said that. But it gets weird when we start talking about those things because those things matter. And then last week we talked about your favorite subject, money. And it was awesome. And we had a good time, didn't we? We talked about tithing. We talked about offerings. And everybody left. Everybody had their smiles on their face. It was like everybody came back. So we're good. Like we didn't run anybody off talking about money because it's what we do. I mean, money matters. And so if you missed either one of those messages, I encourage you to go online, go to storychurch.me, listen to those, download them on your iTunes, drive, instead of cussing those people as you're stuck in, traffic on, Briley Parkway, just plug it in, listen to it. Everything will be great. But if you hopefully you have your notes. If you don't, you're sitting on them, so your seats may be a little uncomfortable. But you should have a note card and you should have a communication card. If this is your first time or maybe you need to update some information, will you please fill out the front of that? Just give us some general information about you. We're not going to come to your house. We're not going to come put any pink flamingos or anything like that in your yard. We're not going to bring you any bread unless you need some bread, and you just let us know. We'll take care of you. But just give us some of that information. If you are a VIP, if this is your first time, we want you to know that everything that we did today, we did with you in mind. We did it for you. And so if you will, when you leave, will you drop that at the VIP table out in the hallway? We have a special gift for you. And so not many places do you get to go, and then when you leave with like free stuff. But we like to give stuff away. We like to be generous. And so please do that. And then on the back side of that communication card, there's actually some different things that are coming up, different events. We realize there's so much information that we could drop on you in 1 week that would just make you kind of go loopy. Because we have a lot going on around here. We have a lot of things coming up in the next few weeks, next few months. And so we try to put those on there so that you can kind of get some more information on what you would like more information on. And so take some time, check those off. If you're a regular partner, a regular attender here, please drop those in the bucket on your way out when you give of your tithes and offerings. So everyone say step up. Oh, come on now. We're going to do a little bit better than that. Everyone say step up. There we go. We're getting better. Like you're learning, like I need some feedback. Like I don't like just to talk and you sit there and look at me like, because that's not fun. I mean, what if I looked at you like that? That'd make you feel uncomfortable, wouldn't it? See, it makes you a little weird. And we don't want to be weird. And so we want to have fun. And so this week, we're talking about one of my favorite subjects. Now, I know I said that week 1 when we were talking about inviting people, and I know I said that week 2 when we were talking about money, but kind of they're all my favorite. That's why we're talking about them. That's what I get to do. But this week, we're talking about serving. Because much as I shared in week 1, I actually came to know Jesus and came to start walking with Jesus because I was able to serve. The church that I attended allowed me to serve. I didn't have to go through a membership class. I didn't have to know Jesus. I didn't have to be able to answer all these questions. I was just willing. And because of that, I was able to meet Jesus, and he changed my life forever. And so today we're going to look at serving and what that looks like. And I know that maybe that's a big church word, maybe that's a big word that kind of scares you. And I know you're busy, you've got life, you've got all kind of things going on. But what you don't realize, and hopefully we will by the end of today, is that serving can really just be a part of everything that we do. And so we're really going to look at that. And so how many of you love anthem songs, like songs that they get you fired up, and maybe you remember some, and I've got a few here, and I'm not going to sing because not only is my voice not good, but I can't sing when it is good. Some of you have heard that. I sang the other day. We were sitting around the table, and I started singing because I was fired up about it, and Noah was like, "Dad, you sing awful." And usually we don't do discouraging words in our home, but it was the truth. And when it's the truth, it'll set you free. And so you can't do anything about that. So I couldn't get mad at him. But if you know this song, I'll let you finish the last word, okay? So I'm going to need some participation. If you're not used to going to church and participating, this is going to make you feel really uncomfortable. Hey, it's like many other things. If we'll just go ahead and do it and get over with, it'll be better. We'll move on, okay? All right. This is a song by Queen. So it may be out of your age scale or before your time or after your time. Who knows? But if you watched Mighty Ducks, then you know this song. All right. We will. There you go. Oh, look, somebody done got going. All right, y'all calm down. Not that, we ain't participating that much. We got to move on. This is a song by the Beatles. And so I was trying to incorporate everybody, long time ago, back in, the 60s and the 70s. All you need is, there you go. And then Bruce Springsteen, Born in the, there we go. All right. So see, we like good anthem songs. We like those songs that we listen to, and maybe you've got that song that you listen to on Monday morning because you're going to work, and it's like, it's Monday. All right. Let me listen to this song. Let me turn it up really loud. Okay, today's going to be awesome. Like, some of us do that. Like, I put out a thing this past week on Facebook, and I was like, hey, what's some of your favorite songs? And I got all kind of things. I got some Mandisa Overcomer, if you listen to Christian radio or anything like that. I got some of those songs. I got some different things sent to my inbox. And it's funny to see what we listen to get fired up. Like, I don't know about you, but if I'm having a bad day, I like to crank it up, a little hard, heavy metal stuff and turn it up real loud and headbang. But my hair doesn't do anything, but I still get excited, and then my neck just hurts a lot, but I get excited, and we do those things. We listen to those songs, and they get us fired up, and what do? They make us want to go change the world, and hopefully this series is doing that for you, because that was my hope and my prayer when Sarah and I started looking at what should we do kind of during this season. We wanted to really build up the house. We wanted to encourage you. And we wanted you to get some practical tools so that you can go out and put your faith to work. And so hopefully that's what it does. And hopefully, it hasn't just fallen on good intentions. And then when you left, nothing happened. I know last week, if you missed last week, sorry, maybe we'll do it again. But last week, we gave everybody free Chick-fil-A sandwiches when they came. And so some of you are like, oh, man, we should have came last week. See, told you. But we did that, and we encouraged you. We said, hey, go out and bless somebody else. And we heard some awesome stories, stories of work, you hanging out with your coworkers, and you took them out, and they're like, your church is stupid. Like, why are they giving away free food? Hey, it's what we do. And it started those conversations. Or I know I've heard from a few of you, you went out and there was somebody, at the door and they were telling you bye and they just kind of looked all sad at Walmart or something and you slipped them a card and it changed everything. Because we said generosity changes us. But what is it that's in us that we hear the song, we hear the message, we get fired up, and then a week later it's like, what happened? Some of us, we kind of get that lump in our throat. We're like, I just want to do something. But then with good intentions, it kind of passes away, and then there's another week. We get caught up in work schedules. We get caught up in life schedules. And then it's another Sunday or it's another Saturday, and it's, where did it go? And hey, here's the deal. Don't beat yourself up, because Jesus knows about good intentions. He actually has this little parable that he taught, and Jesus loved to teach in parables. Parable's a big fancy word for stories. He just loved to share stories. He loved to share stories that we could connect with. And so Matthew 21, it'll be on the screen. If you don't have a Bible, I encourage you, grab one on your way out. Once again, it's free. It's on the house. Take one with you. We want you to have one. But Matthew 21 says, he starts telling a story. He says, he being Jesus, says, what do you think? There was a man who had 2 sons. He went to the first and he said, son, go and work today in the vineyard. The son said, I will not. But later he changed his mind and he went. Then the father went on to the other son and said the same thing. And he answered, well, I will, sir. But he did not go. Which of these 2 did what his father wanted? And so Jesus kind of sets this tale up. And he's telling this story. And you know, he goes to the first son. And you just got to picture this family. They're sitting around the table. And back then, like many times, the dad, if he wasn't like a big religious person, then he had to have a business. He had to have something to kind of make money and provide for his family. And many times, his children, if they were at home, they worked for him. And so they're sitting around, they're eating breakfast. Mama made some bomb diggity chocolate chip pancakes. You know what I mean? Like, you've had those, like, it's good. And so sitting around, and I can just see Dad he's reading his, the Morning Jerusalem paper, because maybe they got those back then, I don't know. But he just kind of looks over to the older son, and he says, hey, you want to go out and work the vines today? And you got a picture like this 80s rocker, like kid with like probably got a mohawk, probably tattoos and piercings. You know those people that you judge when you're in Walmart? I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. Not trying to step on your toes, just being real. But he looked down and his son's like, Dad, no, like it's hot and I don't want to go out. And so then he puts on his Walkman, because he is from the 80s and that's all he's got. And so he puts on his little, Megadeth tape. I'm reaching back. I'm trying to get you. And then he goes off and he skates off. But then later he comes, he kind of repents and he says, you know what? I need to go out there and help Dad. But then he goes to his younger son. And what you got to realize is, okay, what does this tale have to do with anything? Well, he's sitting around a bunch of religious people. These religious people know the 10 Commandments. And they know what one is. They said, it is to honor your father and mother. And so they know that. So anytime Jesus is kind of telling a story like that, you kind of got to reach back to some context and see what it means. But he's telling this story because he's trying to set them up. Because he's trying to set them up to show them something. Because they're going to judge that first person. They're going to judge, look, he's not even listening to his dad. He's being disrespectful. He needs to go out and be stoned. Not recreationally, but in the bad way. And so then he says, hey, I've got this second son. Now, my second son, hey, your brother, we lost him. When he was 7, he checked out. Would you go and work in the vineyard for me? Like I can just sense Dad like not having this authoritative voice. Like he knows he's kind of messed up with the first son. And he's like, would you go work in the vineyard? And then you got a picture like this, it's the church kid. It's the kid with the part in his hair. Like he's got it slicked down. Like, he's listening, he's got his Jesus shirt on and he's raising his hand because he's listening to some music, at the breakfast table. He's getting his praise on. He says, well, yes, sir, I would love to go. And it's funny because Jesus even put it in there. He said, yes, sir. Like he's being all respectful. Yes, sir, I would love to go and honor my father. I would love to go and work in the vineyard for you today. But then he didn't show up. The second scene is the dad shows up and the first rebellion son, he's actually there. And he's working. But then he looks around with the son that, had good intentions. He had good manners and he looked all clean and nice, and he didn't show up. He had that lump in his throat. He had those intentions, but he just didn't make it. And so what we have to do is we have to ask ourselves, am I going to be like son number 1, or am I going to be like son number 2? Am I going to have all the answers? Am I going to have all the clean cut goodness going on, but I got some good intentions, but I'm just not going to be able to make it? Or am I going to be, who I am and be real? And, and I may have a little attitude, and it may not be pretty, but I'm going to do what I get asked to do. It's not right. I may not like it. It may be hot, but I'm going to do it. We go on and we see this, and Jesus kind of sets this up, because Jesus doesn't do things the way we do things. I don't know, maybe you grew up in church, maybe you didn't, maybe, I don't know what it took for you to get here today. But Jesus doesn't do things the way we do them. But he sets this up and he says, let's look at what it takes for us to have compassion. Because I don't know about you, but really in our world, that's what it's going to take for us to make a difference. Do we have compassion for those around us? Because we can have good intentions, and we can have that all day long. But do we have that compassion? And Jesus sets it up because, I don't know where you are from, but for us, it's always, well, we shouldn't do anything, and no one else should see that, and we should just, that's between me and the Lord. I don't know if you've ever heard that or not. But Jesus actually says, no, it's not between just you and the Lord. It's between you and everybody. Check this out. Matthew 5:13-16 says, you are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. See, Jesus sets it up and says, look, what you do matters. If you're going to have compassion, do that in such a way that you point people to me. Now, hey, look, that's a heart check, because we can get carried away and be like, hey, this is all about me. I had somebody send me a message yesterday. Some of us went out and we were picking up trash for Madison cleanup day, and we're out there and we're picking up trash, and I get this message. It's like, hey, I know you're not doing it to receive any honor or anything, but I just want to let you know, thank you. I seen you out with the kids and out with the other adults, and you are out there picking up trash, and I appreciate you serving our community. Thank you. And I know him, and I know him pretty well, so I send him a message back. It's like, hey, look, we're just trying to serve our community and love on them. Because this is what I know. People are going to see that and respond. Because people respond to compassion. People respond to generosity. People don't respond, and we talked about last week, people are not going to respond to you sitting there hollering at them, telling them how wrong they are. We all know how jacked up we are. We've been through that. Like, we know we got issues. So what about compassion? What about serving people? Helen Keller said this. Says, I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. I will not refuse to do the something I can do. So what can we do? Where can we go? How can we serve? Because we all have the ability to serve. We all can serve in different capacities, in different areas, at church, away from church, at home, at work, wherever you are, God has you there for a reason. So what can we do there? I don't know about you, but there's this little, I guess it would be called a suffix, because it goes on to the end of a word, and I probably just jacked that way up. So if you're a teacher, sorry. I got a standard diploma. That's all I got. And so, but there's this little ish that we put on, like, hey, I'll be at your house around 3-ish. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard that, or hey, like if you're getting a report, well, I'll get it done about December-ish. Like, we don't like that. The whole ish part, or the cable guy calls you, hey, Mr. Perry, I'm going to be at your house, about 4-ish. And I'm like, really what you're telling me is I've got to be here from noon to 4. So, okay, I'll go watch TV and wait. Oh, wait, I can't go watch TV because I'm waiting on you. So why don't you bring your ish over here, and so then we can watch some TV. Like, get here on time. But, we don't do that. But what does ish do? It gives us some wiggle room. Wiggle room's not good. Like, we like wiggle room, especially those of you that are not like OCD like me. I like to be on time. I don't like to be on late. But here's what I've discovered the past few weeks. You're never late. So I'm going to set you free. You're never late. You're always on time. It may not be the right time, but you're always on time. So it may be your time. But what if what if I come home to Sarah and I said, hey, babe, I love you a lot-ish. Yeah, that wouldn't go well. So guys, don't do that. Just hook you up. Or what if you walk in tomorrow and your boss is like, I know we agreed on this amount, but I might pay you about this-ish. You wouldn't like that. It gives too much wiggle room. And so what I want to do today is I want to give some clear definition. I want to give some clear next steps. Because a lot of times, hey, I'm guilty of it. Guys in my position, we'll throw out some things and just kind of leave it floating around, and then our good intentions take over, and then it doesn't happen. And so what if we offer some real next steps? Here it is. I want you to write this down if you're taking notes. If you're not, put it in your memory. You'll forget by the time you get home. It'll be awesome. Because how many of you know if you don't write it down within 24 hours, you forget it? I mean, just saying. We move from good intentions to real life change when we make and keep small, specific commitments. We move from good intentions to real life change when we make and keep small, specific commitments. And so today I want to get specific with us. One of the first things that we can do if we're going to serve, if we're going to make a difference, if we're going to step up, if we're going to grow deeper roots, as we've been talking about, so that we can withhold all the storms that come our way and still serve Jesus, the first thing we have to do really is live. And it's simple, because so many of us, we don't live. We go out and we look for all these other opportunities that really, they're not ours. Like, where do you live right now? What are you involved in right now? Like, be involved in that. I went to a baseball game yesterday and went to check out one of our kids that comes here, and he serves here. And so we wanted to go support him, and he did an awesome job. But one thing I noticed is that there were some parents there, and that's what they do. They live the sports life. They're involved in that. And maybe that's you. Can I encourage you that that's where you live, serve there? For us, Sarah and I've told you that we coached this one season of soccer that we'll never coach again because it was that bad. I don't like to lose. I really don't like to lose when I don't know what I'm doing. But we had fun with it. But the only reason that we did that was because we were like, well, hey, if we're going to be out here, we might as well be involved. Like, we might as well go ahead and step up and just be a part of it. And so where do you live? Like, what neighborhood are you in? Like, that's where God has you. Where do you work? There's all kind of opportunities around here. And you may not hear about it, but I get it a lot. Sarah and I will get emails. Hey, I think you should start such and such ministry. Or, hey, I think you should go out and do such and such thing. And if you know this about me, if you know me, when you bring me a suggestion, that's an awesome suggestion. Thank you for leading it. That usually shuts that down real quick. Yeah, some of you will get that. Some of you are going to be home tonight brushing your teeth like, I think we should do, oh, wait a minute. No, we're good. We're doing awesome. And that's where it shuts that down at. But where do you live? Because listen, we don't need more ministries. If you need somewhere to serve, we've got Story Kids. If you need somewhere to serve, we've got Parking Lot. If you need somewhere to serve, we've got Tech Booth. Hey, I don't like kids. Hey, no lie, and I'm going to throw her under the rug because she's not in here, so y'all don't tell her. But just a few weeks ago, we were talking with Brittany, one of our servants. She was actually heading up First Impressions. And she said, I don't like kids. I don't like working with kids. I don't want to be in there with kids. She went in there 1 week and checked it out, and she came out, she said, I'm in love. It's like, this is where I've got to be. It changed her life. See, so many times we want to do awesome things when they get here. But here's the deal. God doesn't work like that. If you want to do awesome things later, you got to do awesome things now. So you can't wait for the big moment. I got a buddy of mine who's in the house, and he's in the military, and he does some things, and he's getting ready for some physical training and stuff like that. I can guarantee you, he's not going to wait till that day and walk out and be like, all right, I'm here. What are we going to do? That's not going to go well. I'm going on a hiking trip. In May, I'm going to hike in some of the AT. Y'all pray for me. I hope I come back. I heard there's bears. And, hey, here's my strategy. I'm not going to be the slowest guy. If you're not the slowest, you're not getting to eat. I'm just saying. But here's the deal. I'm not waiting till then. to be like, all right, let's go. I got my pack. I'm trained. I'm ready. Now, I've been going out and hiking. That's where you walk and hike all together, hiking. But I've been going out and doing like 4 miles in an hour. Let me tell you, that's not easy, and that's not fun. If you think it is, throw you some 50-pound bag on your back and wear some boots. My shins are hurting, and I got blisters on the back of my feet, y'all. So it's hurting a little bit. But we've got to live where we are. Serve where we are. You know, hey, it'd be awesome when we can do this. No, it'd be awesome if you can do it right now. Just being honest and straight up. If we live and serve where we are, then we'll get to do those other cool things later. Check this out. One day, Peter and John were going up to the temple at the time of prayer at 3 in the afternoon. Now, a man who was lame from birth was being carried to the temple gate called Beautiful, where he was put every day to beg from those going into the temple courts. When he saw Peter and John about to enter, he asked them for some money. Peter looked straight at him, as did John. Then Peter said, "Look at us." So the man gave them his attention, expecting to get something from them. Then Peter said, "Silver or gold I do not have, but what I do have I give you. In the name of Jesus Christ, walk." See, they didn't have money, and he wasn't pulling I left my wallet at home. No, he was just, look, I don't have money, but let me give you what I got. See, so many times we have good intentions of getting so many more things when really God has entrusted you with exactly what you need for exactly where you are. You go to work right now, and man, I can't wait to get that raise, or I can't wait to move up. I want to be, I can't wait till I get there. Then I'll be in on the company. No, you need to be in on the company right now. You need to be the best employee they got. I don't care if you are the one that cleans the toilets. Hey, around here we said it with our lead team a few weeks ago. We're fixing to go back to cleaning toilets because that's where all this began. That's where I began. My first thing when I started working for my pastor, who was a youth pastor then, showed up. I was like, "Hey, I'm here. You tell me what you need me to do." And I'm thinking, I can put up the stage. I can do some lights. I'll make it happen. Here's a bucket. I need you to go clean some toilets. That's not what I was hoping. But you know what? I went and did it. I went and did it because that's what my leader asked me to do. And it was awesome. I no lie, I really did get to where I enjoyed it. Then I got to move up. I got to manage other people that clean toilets. And so it's a big deal. Hey, moving up is moving up. You got to be excited about the little things. But serve where we are. Anne Frank said this, "How wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single minute before starting to improve the world." All you got to do is do it today. But what happens, why is it so many times that we sit down at the table, we have these great conversations, we have these good intentions, but we never make it to the vineyard? It's because we're not looking at where we live right now. We're not looking at the opportunities that we have right now. And we've got to be able to do that. Number 2, we've got to see. These are real simple points. We've got to be able to see. There are all kind of needs around us. And what we firmly believe is that when you see a need, you meet that need, whatever it is. And I know for us, we hear stories all the time of people that, what do they do for a living? They bum money. And they're living in big houses, and they're living down in the fancy neighborhoods, and they got it going on. So then when you see a guy on the street, and he asks him for money, no, he's probably one of those guys. And it shuts us down. What we don't realize is that when we're generous, God does something to us. And it doesn't matter what they're doing. I'm not saying go out and just start giving all your money away. That's not wise either. You'll be out there doing it too. But be wise. But be generous. Do those things. Matthew 25, one of my favorite Bible passages. I'm not going to read all of it because it's a long deal, but I encourage you, go read Matthew 25, 31 through 46. And Jesus is kind of setting up this story. He's talking with his disciples and with some other people. And he's talking about separating the sheep from the goats. And basically what he's saying is that there's a group of people that see a need and meet a need. And then there's a group of people that see a need and say, maybe later. Or maybe somebody else will do it. And he's saying those that see the need and meet the need, I'm going to bless and I'm going to use. Those that see the need and kind of wipe it off, I don't have any love for them. I mean, he was being straight up. But verses 25 through 40, or 35 through 40 said this: I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me. And it says, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? The king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. And so when you serve, it's a big deal to him. You know, I don't like putting up this pipe and drape, and I don't like setting up these lights, and I don't like cleaning up the cafe. When you're doing it for him. You know, you're serving back there in store, kids, and you're hanging out with the kids, and it's an awesome time, and you're like, yay, kids, woo, yeah. Hey, sometimes you got to fake it till you make it, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you just got to do it. But you're back there and you're serving, you're like, hey, you know, you're building relationships and you're making friends, and that's awesome. And you're having a good time with the kids, and that's great. And you'll do those things. But you're actually getting to serve him. Everything that we do around here, we actually get to serve him in doing that. But first we've got to be willing to see the need and meet the need. Don't just see it and wipe it off. The third thing that we've got to be willing to do is love. We really got to be willing to love. You know, ask God. Once we see a need and meet a need, because we realize where we're living, realize what situation we're in, we realize where we are is where we are for right now. We've got to make the best of it. God, what can I do right now? Some of us, we're afraid to ask God that because we're afraid we may hear something from him. And maybe you don't believe in talking to God, and maybe you don't believe in all that. Well, then ask your conscience, hey, okay, conscience, what can I do to be a better person right now? You know, what can I do to make someone else's life better right now? And then listen and then go do it. See the need, meet the need, go in love, and go do those things. Matthew 10:42. This is a large work I've called you into, but don't be overwhelmed by it. This is Jesus talking to us. Those of you that serve, those of you that give week in and week out, and you're tired, and there's a lot going on, and let's face it, there's more going on than any of us can do. I mean, if you look at all the things that need to be done, you can become overwhelmed. Jesus says, don't become overwhelmed. It's the best to start small. Give a cool cup of water to someone who is thirsty. Don't mind if I do. For instance, the smallest act of giving or receiving makes you a true apprentice. You won't lose out on a thing. So start where you are. See the need, meet the need. Love in what you're doing. Start where you are. You can start small. Yeah, we all want to conquer the world. We all want to do something great and glamorous, and get our 15 minutes on TMZ and all crazy face and everything because they caught us doing whatever it was. But start where you are. Start small. Because I know this, if we don't enjoy where we are, if we don't enjoy the process, then really what's going to happen is we're going to get somewhere that really our character can't maintain us. And that's tough. Because it'd be real nice if you walk in tomorrow and, you clean the toilets. That's what you do. And your boss says, you know what? We're going to make you CEO today. Like, we're done. We know you've been doing that, but we're going to move you way up the ladder. Honestly, as awesome as that would be, your character may not be able to keep you there. I think that's why we see so many failures so many times when we watch Hollywood and we watch all these things happening, and we look at these football players and we look at these movie actors and we see all these people that, how could they make such a stupid mistake? I mean, you say that when you're watching the news, don't you? I know you're talking to the TV, by the way, just saying. But why would they do that? I honestly believe is because they skip some processes. Because we do live in a world where, like, I want it now. I want it done. Like, how many of you throw away half a bag of popcorn because you couldn't wait the whole time for all the kernels to pop? Like, it's like, it says 4 minutes, 2, done. And like, you don't even listen for the 2 seconds in between each pop, because that's if you keep reading. I'm just saying. I'm setting you free today, trying to save you money, save you popcorn. But we get in such a hurry that we forget and we get overwhelmed. And then we beat ourselves up and it's like, oh, I can't do anything right. And we start speaking all these negative words. Back up. Where are you? What are some needs that are around you? Then go do them. Just be simple about it. We don't have to get overwhelmed. We don't have to be all anxious and everything. Mother Teresa said this, if you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one. See, so many times we get stuck in this place where, man, we've got to do it big. You know, I mean, hey, look, I am a big dreamer. Like, in a few weeks, we're giving away 10,000 Easter eggs. Just saying, April 19th, put that down on your calendar. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm sitting around like, we could do 50,000. That'd be awesome. I'm like, we could do 100,000. Like, yes. Like, I'm all about going big or going home. But what if we just do what we can do? Because I ain't gonna lie, like, sometimes God's got to remind me of that. You know, hey, look, where are you? What can you manage? What can you handle? Stay there. Stay in your lane. Because if you get over in somebody else's lane, you're going to get run over. And so we've got to manage where we are. Yeah, sure, it'd be awesome to give away 100 cups of water. But if you only got one, then just do the one. Don't forego giving someone one because you don't have 99 more. You're going to miss out on blessing someone else. You're also going to miss out on receiving a blessing yourself. The fourth thing, and probably the most important thing, is know that you have a church that rallies around you. Know that you're not alone. I know there are things that you go out and you see these needs and you're like, I can't do all that on my own. Like, this is too big. That's why we're all here together. Because there are needs out there that it literally takes all of us. You know, we've got a single mom in the church and she makes it work. You know, she makes it week to week and she's doing an awesome job with her kids. And hey, she's got some heater problems. We've got somebody in the house that's an HVAC guy that went over and took a look and is trying to figure out some things that we can do there. Hey, it'd be a big deal for her to be like, man, I got to replace this unit. And you know, you've had to replace a unit before. It's tough. It's a lot of money. And you're barely making it, and I can't do that. That's a need that can be met in the house. But we've got to be able to do our own part. See, it's so important because each one of you are here. And each one of you have a different responsibility. But we're sitting at the dinner table. You can be the older son. You can be a little butthurt about it, but you're still going to do it. You might as well skip all the crying and just do it. Or you can be son number 2 and be like, it'll be awesome. You know, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to serve and whatever they need done. And then you don't show up. Sitting at the dinner table, we've got to make that decision. Are we going to be a people of good intentions? Or are we going to be a people of action? Because if each one of us does our own little part, that's when it all works together. You know, I'm a firm believer, like, if something needs to be done in the house, there's somebody here that can do that. But it's totally up to us as individuals to say, you know what? This is on me. I need to do this. We got to be willing to get outside of our comfort zone and get outside of our bubble. I told you guys when we started this series 2 weeks ago, it is my intention that if you are sitting in the middle and sitting comfortable, it's to push you out. To either push you out into doing more here or push you out to go somewhere else. That's just being straight up. Because I do not believe we can be spiritually aligned with Jesus and sit and do nothing. Now, what does that look like? Maybe you can't do a lot. Maybe you're physically, like, you're limited. Hey, we've got an awesome prayer team here. And we've got a prayer team that lifts up our prayers all the time. That's a big deal. You can be a part of that. Maybe you're like me, like you don't have a lot of book smarts, but you got all kind of common sense. Like, we can put something together. It may work for a week. It may work for longer. But we can put it together. We need people like that. Maybe you don't know if you like kids. Hey, if you've never killed a kid, okay, you can work with kids. Just throwing it out there. If you have killed one, we're not going to let you go back there because I have a kid back there. Just saying. But there's easy stuff. And hey, here's the deal. We do background checks. So if you already know you're going to fail a background check, that would be a good excuse not to do it. I get it. That's fine. But hey, that's not to say that we can't work through that too. And so because, hey, there's no perfect people here. So I know we all got issues and we all jacked up. But just know this, there are needs in the house. And you're here. And if you're not doing something, there's something you can do. Because all of this takes all of us. And that's part of it. That's how we make it through life. Because you can go through life alone and not live. Or you can go through life together on a journey with people and be better for it. I've got people that they serve and they give, and some of them here, and I've got friends that serve and give at other churches, and they say, it's changed my life. Because we say it like this, you're never more like Jesus than when you're serving. Jesus came, he said, I came to serve, not be served. Another quote, and we'll shut it down. William Wordsworth said this. He says, this is the best portion of a good man's life. His little, nameless, unremembered acts of kindness and love. And so it doesn't matter what you can do. You can do it. Every task is important. I put up a picture this morning on Facebook and Twitter. Noah, my son, 7-year-old, was in here putting out your note cards and your communication cards and your ink pens, and snapped a picture of him. I was like, that's what he's doing. Like, every task is important. You know, maybe you can only stick around for 15 minutes. Hey, that 15 minutes is important. Maybe you can dedicate a lot of time. Hey, that is important. And so whatever you've got to give, you can give. You can serve. You can love. Because I guarantee you like this, if you start serving Jesus, he'll change your life. He really will. You'll become more like him every day. But it's not just doing it on the big scale. It's not just doing it where somebody can see it and make a big deal about it. Sometimes it's cleaning toilets. Sometimes it's going in and nobody else can see you. Sometimes it's being at home and your spouse needs you to do something, or your parents need you to do something, or your kids need you to do something. You can't tweet about it or Facebook about it because your phone's dead. Do it anyways. It's those little bitty times when really nobody else is looking. Those are the things that make the biggest difference. But know this, if you come across something, you're like, I can't do this on my own. I know. That's why we're here. So I encourage you, step up. Go to that next level. Hey, maybe you don't know what to do and you're not doing anything. On the back of your communication card, there's all kind of different areas of where you can serve. Some are on Sundays, some are through the week. So maybe Sunday's not your gig. Maybe you know, this is not just what the church does. There's a lot of people that do a lot of things Monday through Saturday. You know, we can get you hooked up if you want to serve. Because I promise you, every task matters. Every task is important. Every task gets us closer to Jesus, and every task creates an environment where people can come and experience God. I have this little mantra that I say with our dream team, with our partners. You know, for us, every week it's setting the table for us to be able to sit down and meet with God. Every Sunday, that's what we do here. Everything that we do Monday through Saturday has to make that happen. So I encourage you, if you're not serving, it's the best decision you can make. I encouraged you last week, there's different decisions and different step-ups and different next steps. And so you've got to be able to do those things. So don't be a person of good intentions. Don't say, you know what, I'm going to go home and pray about it, Pastor. I'll let you know next week. No, you won't. You're going to come back next week and you're going to sit there in your same chair, which, by the way, we move chairs around every week just to confuse you. So if you're one of those people, it messes with your mind. But you're going to come back and you say, all right, what you got for me today, Pastor? It's going to be good. You're not participating. When you participate, it makes a difference. You can either go watch a football game or you can play in the football game. There's a difference there. You may be on the same team, but if you're sitting in the bleachers, it ain't happening for you. If you want your Monday to be awesome, I guarantee you serve on the weekends. It'll change your life. Let's pray. God, we thank you, God, that you sent your son to serve us. And God, that you said your example would be that we would serve And God, that when we serve, God, it actually brings you glory and it brings you honor. So God, I pray that as we sit around and God, as we kind of come up to our table and we look at the things that are around us that may need to be done, God, that we would see a need and we would meet that need. And God, that maybe if we don't see any needs, maybe we'd raise our hand and say, God, what are some needs that are around me? What are some things that maybe I'm blind to that maybe my heart is not allowing me to see? God, I thank you for those people that serve here every week, week in and week out. God, those people that give up so much time and so much of their talents and so much of their treasure. And God, and then they go and they do work, and God, they serve there too. God, I pray that we would all be servants as you want us to be. God, we would not be a people of good intentions. But God, we would be a people of action. God, no matter how small we may consider it, no matter how large we may consider it, God, I pray that we'd see a need and meet it. God, I pray if there's anyone in the house today, God, that may not know you, God, I pray that you would speak to them right now. God, that you would tell them that they are loved. God, that they are forgiven. God, that they are accepted. God, that you would embrace them, and God, that they would in return embrace you as their forgiver and leader. God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your word. Pray that when we leave encouraged, we leave inspired, we leave challenged, and God, we leave way different than when we came in here. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Story Church. Just want to give you a few announcements. Next Saturday, we have a financial coaching class. So maybe last week we talked about finances. I encourage you, go home, listen to that message, and then come to the financial coaching class. We're going to teach you how to set a budget. We're going to teach you how to get out of debt. We're going to teach you how to save money. I know, hey, you making it paycheck to paycheck. You ain't got a penny to save. There's ways to make that happen. And so come next week. There's a place on your communication card to check that. We also encouraged you last week, if you've never tithed before, that's where you bring 10% of what God has given you, you bring it back to Him. If you've never done that before, we encourage you to do the 90-day tithe challenge. What that is for 90 days, you bring to God the first 10% of what He gives you. If in those 90 days, He does not meet your needs, we'll give you all your money back. That's not us trying to get anything from you. That's us trying to do something for you. And so there's a place on your communication card to check that too. And then like I said in the conversation, on the back, fill out something on there that you'd like some more information about. Within 48 hours, one of our servant leaders, people that volunteer, people that serve here, will contact you. And so you can have more information so you can know which next steps you need to take. So we love you. Have an awesome week. Make sure if you came prepared to give that you do so on the way out. If you didn't, we have that set up online for you. And so you can go to storychurch.me and give there, or you can go to the Resource Depot and give there. Have an awesome week. Love you.